Is the DCU Batman already finished? Let's talk about it. What's good, y'all? We are back with another video, and today we will be discussing the DCU Batman and some news that we just got recently, right? The news in question is that Christina Hudson, I believe that's how I'm saying that her name correctly. I hope so. Is going to be writing this film, right? Now, first things first, right? I don't wanna, you know, I'm not, coming at anybody's character or anything like that. Like, I think, Christina Hudson is probably good person. She looks nice. I don't have anything, nefarious or anything like that to Christina Hodson. I'm sorry, Christina Hodson. I don't have anything negative to say about her or anything like that. That being said, when this first got announced, when this news first dropped, I was like, who is Christina? Who is Christina Hodson, right? Like, no disrespect, I was genuinely like, who is that? And I waited a week, to see if maybe somebody's gonna debunk this, so nobody can say that I'm hating or nothing like that. I waited, just so, to see if this news was real. Of course, she's a real writer, so, she's better at this craft than me. Of course, I would never try and make it's just a whole thing, bro. But let's look at what she's written, right? Let's look at what she's written. So she wrote Birds of Prey, which is not a good movie. Like, just being honest, like, flat out, it's not a good film. It's also not comic accurate, which, I mean, I've seen some people try and switch up and say they actually think this movie is good, which I think, is just a bold-faced lie. Like, you don't have to change your opinion just because, it's a part of the DCU. Like, I feel like the Glaciers got to kind of chill out. But, Birds of Prey is not a good film. And, yeah, okay. And then she wrote The Flash, right? Which I didn't hate The Flash as much as probably the general audiences did. I gave it like a calm 5 out of 10, though, which still is not really even good. It wasn't a good adaptation of Flashpoint, which already was adapted into animation. So I don't know how you could have possibly messed this up. And it's not a heavy-handed like event either, so I'm not sure why that movie came out the way it did. The CGI was bad, but this film did have multiple writers, I'm pretty sure, to be fair. So I'll give her some grace here and say she was given a bad hand, right? She also did Bumblebee, which is actually a pretty decent Transformers film, right? And then she wrote the canceled Batgirl film, which is not good. Now, listen, I like James Gunn, and I'm excited for the DCU, but I don't think we need to be glazing every, decision this guy makes. Of course, if this happens to be true, because these are not good films. Like, I don't understand how you could give somebody who wrote these Batman. But let's back it up, right? This list is just not good, right? It's not good. We have Birds of Prey, horrible. The Flash, horrible. Batgirl, which got written off, for taxes, which I think that is pretty grimy, not gonna lie. Like, they shot the whole thing and they just tossed it. But I'm not gonna lie, guys. After seeing this, I'm down on my hands and knees. Mr. Reeves, let's merge. I was completely against a merger at the beginning, but this is a travesty. This is horrible, and it all makes sense now, because why has news on Batman been so silent? Like, why has it been so quiet? Why is Batman not already being talked enough? We haven't got the casting yet. We haven't gotten all of these things. And, say what you will about Batman Glaciers, they show up. He's the Spidey of DC. He is the flagship. He's literally outselling everybody in comics. His movies are still, you could literally drop a Batman movie today and it will still sell well. Batman is that guy. So, like, what's going on with this script, bro? They're playing Duck Duck Goose with the script or something. Now, the good news is it is possible that, she may end up getting, replaced. Obviously, I don't want her out of a job, right? Like, if she gets replaced, I don't want it to be because, like, they fired her or anything like that. More so just because, like, maybe she had to work on a different project, right? I'm not wishing anybody to get fired. No. But, I just don't understand. Like, it's like, even if, James Gunn did say he liked The Flash, right? Which is kind of scary, the fact that he even said that. But, sometimes we like movies that, the general audience doesn't like, right? That's something that's very common. But even if you like that movie, we can all agree that it's not a smart decision to have the creative team of DC's biggest flop, The Flash, lead your flagship character into this new universe that people are already going to be looking at sideways, looking for any reason to criticize and judge it. Like, because of this announcement, I've literally seen people say James Gunn is trying to burn the DCU to the ground before he gets fired, bro. And to be fair, it's just internet stuff. Like, the internet is going to hate regardless, but I don't understand what was the thought process that went into this. Like, I don't understand. This is, like, in what world are you writing, bomb, a film that got written off, and you get a shot at the biggest character in comics, essentially? Right now, at least, I don't understand. And this is the film that's bringing him into the fold, his family, the Bat family. It's just like, what is going on? Like, maybe she's co-writing with somebody else, maybe. And another thing that scares me is, bro, people are questioning, like, her ability and stuff. And, I've seen something that, had me interested, because obviously we know with The Flash, she probably did get dealt a bad hand for real. Like, she probably did just get that script, like, last minute. She had to work with essentially nothing, right? But that scares me for Batman, because if she's getting Batman, how many people have they gone through? Because there's no way that this was the first choice. I refuse to believe that. And who were they working with before it? And one thing I will say is, people would complain if they just rushed this out. So fair play. Like, I'm not saying that we need the Batman film yesterday. It is more so just based on the fact that we've heard nothing about it. It does make a lot of sense now. And I'm just worried about, how many people have gotten that script, because this cannot be a Flash 2.0. We have the Batman, part 2, which is going to go crazy. It's very anticipated. And then we have the DCU, which I think is in a good spot, but it's just started. We can't have a bad film, right now. Like, I think, you can have a bad film like 5 years in or something like that. Like, we're just now in the DCU. So this does, kind of have me a bit spooked. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. And it's like, turning in scripts on time is a good trait to have, right? I'm sure that's probably why they decided to go with her, because she gets those scripts in on time, which good on her. I actually believe, in Birds of Prey as well, like, I think they were trying to go for more comic accurate, but I'm pretty sure, like, the studio interfered, which is also kind of scary too, because, like, you let the studio interfere to that extent is kind of crazy. But, who knows? Like, she might, put out a banger. Like, I hope she does. Let's hope, James Gunn is going to be looking at this script, so let's hope that it's good. I like Superman, so I would assume that he's not going to, give us a bad script to watch. And, bro, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm still in disbelief. Like, there's no way they didn't have, like, a C-lister or, like, a B-lister that wanted to hop on this, bro. Like, for The Dark Knight, like, nobody wanted to hop on this at all. I just can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope she comes out here and she makes the greatest Batman film ever. I want her to make me look stupid, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, in peace.